is that Bernie Bernardo feels that he should go out there and start his 5 best ball players. Usually Tommy Minotok gives 1 or 2 players a chance to start the game. 1 or 2 players that are not usually among the top 5 or 6 players. He gives them a chance to start. But Bernie Bernardo, he wants to make sure that Crispa he's going out with a strong team 2 games in a row.
Well, this has always been the philosophy of our analysts, both Steve and Andy. Just like in the NBA, it's always ideal to start with your best 5, and then you can face them. On your screens once more, we have the starting 5s of both squads, Galerie, Dominic, and Crispa.
Yes, you know, Pings, going back to that point, when I first came and joined the coverage of the PBA, I thought that the coaches were wrong in their intentions of starting different ball players for different games. But because of the brand of PBA basketball, where so many players get a chance to play, I think it actually works very well for the PBA to allow different players to start in different ball games.
Double checking once more the starting 5 of Galerie, Dominic. It is Balani, who is part of the starting 5, and not Tierra, which I mentioned a little while back. Irisco is still scoreless, and Kidaben may change all of that. And there's a loose ball foul before Kidaben could go for that offensive rebound. It is called against Fogle, and this is coming a little bit too early.
Yes, and you see that Galerie Dominique is going to pack it in. They're going to play very close to the basket and try to give Crispa the outside shot. Galerie knows that Crispa has a great offensive rebounding ball club, and Galerie's going to have 5 men hit the defensive boards to stop Crispa on the offensive rebounds.
We have a turnover because of a wide pass coming from Ko. It is Junicio calling up the play, and last Sunday he fired 14 points and had 8 assists. Fogle trying to force that shot. TJ doing the tough jobs for Crispa. It's always exciting to watch. They go to the air, and Cesar puts the Redmonizers on the scoreboard.
Well, Galerie has to have a man floating in the middle. Even if it means a technical foul, they have to let one man float through the middle to stop those type of passes.
Getting a pick is Fabiosa. From a 2-all count, it is now a 2-point game. The Redmonizers on top by 4-2 count. Hits coming from Fabiosa and Cesar.
And you can see Joy Dionisio bringing up the basketball. Once he gets that ball to the top of the key, if he doesn't have a shot, he has to make a pass, because Galerie Dominique needs the full 25 seconds to get a good shot off this tough Crispa defense.
Kidaben is covering Fogle, running shot. A little bit too strong from Tagiles. Here is Kidaben pulling down his first defensive rebound forward to Bates. He goes to the lane. Aside from a body check, he also got the hand foul. And it is a Balani foul. That is the first one on him, bringing Galerie Dominic to their 3rd team foul.
Yes, and if we can catch that play on slow motion, you'll notice that Billy Ray Bates has a tendency to drive to the middle from the right side. And I think that some of the teams should start planting a man in the middle there, trying to draw the offensive foul from Billy Ray Bates. That's something that the Toyota Ball Club try to do. Watch Billy Ray Bates here. If there's a player standing there, he'll get hurt, but he might be able to pick up the offensive foul.
Fogle works the basket inside, and a foul to boot from Kidaben. So we have an opportunity here for a slam from Larry Fogle. He's happy with the foul. If he makes this, this will be our 2nd deadlock. And Kidaben pulling his 2nd defensive rebound. Here is Ko, quick bounce. Here is Superman.
Let's take a look at the matchups here. You can see that Billy Ray Bates is going to be assigned to a local player, and it's Abed Kidaben who's been doing a very fine job against the taller imports, which has been giving a chance for Billy Ray Bates to concentrate more on his offense and more of his rebounding.
Well, Steve, a little while back, there was a press a little bit too close, and that's a 2nd personal on the Kidaben. And a quick getaway from Larry Fogle, who is moving fluidly, and all of the first 6 points for Galerie Dominic have all come from Fogle. Kidaben looking for his basket.
That's a beautiful move by Kidaben, going right into the import.
Despite the fact that he has 2 personal fouls, he did not hesitate to drive. most players would hesitate because of a possibility of a charged call on them. But this time he did not, and he was already committed. Here is Torrente getting away. Good shot, good move.
Well, those are the two guys, Torrente and Dionisio, that can set the tempo for the ball club. If Galerie Dominique can get some scoring from the backcourt line, they have a good chance to win any ball game.
Well, that may not happen unless Balani keeps on moving, which he is doing, because Benji Poblet, as we established, is not going to see action for the next 2 weeks because of knee injury, and likewise, Jimmy Javier, who has proved to be very strong off the boards.
Well, that's definitely going to hurt them. Two big men for Galerie Dominique, and they really need those men. Perhaps we'll see Vicente in the basketball game, which is their only other man off the bench with some kind of height.
Cesar switched over to Fogle because of Kidablen's 2 personal fouls.
Foul, Cesar.
And this is Cesar's first personal contact. He may have a busy night tonight. Here is Torrente. Balani, good fake, trying to do a reverse, but Kidablen was there checking him. Here is Bates on a fake drive going to Fabiosa.
And Billy Ray Bates, in the opening interview, he stated that he feels very comfortable with the ball players. You see, Bernie Fabiosa was waiting for the pass. He knows that Billy Ray Bates is not selfish, and if Bates has the pass, he will make it.
There were 3 men keeping an eye on Fogle, who has taken a plunge. First Cesar and Bates, and from behind it was Fabiosa. Our first substitution in this first quarter, we have Taguines, and we have also Dalman reporting for the first time. You saw that slow-mo action.
Now, the only time they called a traveling violation there on Larry Fogle from out of bounds. The only time you're allowed to move with the ball from out of bounds is after the opposing team makes a shot, either a foul shot or a 2-point shot or a 3-point shot. Then you're allowed to run along the baseline. Like right now, Dionisio can run with the ball on the baseline, but not on a set play.
And Cesar from long range getting his 4th point. Pass tapped out, but going to Dionisio. 3rd defensive rebound to the credit of Kidablen. Bates pulling out. Beautiful rainbow territory shot. It is Bates now scoring his 6th point. A little bit too strong on the side, rolling over out to Delman from long range. It's a 6-point game being enjoyed by the Redmonizers. 16-10. We have 7 minutes in the first. No posting is Bates. Delman pressing a little bit too close. Foul called against him.
And what a lot of fans are looking for tonight, they're looking at the officials. If you recall in the last game that the Crispa Redmonizers played against the Tanduay Ball Club, there was a lot of controversial calls made. And the fans are looking tonight to see how the officiating has improved or if it has changed.
Very true. It has gotten to be a very controversial event, and the sports writers have also picked it up, and the sentiments were recorded there in the papers. And we have a traveling call called against Balani, and we have a turnover.
Yes, I think that's one way the officials have definitely improved on their officiating, and that's in calling those traveling violations.
Reaching foul called against Balani. That is his 2nd personal foul on team fouls. 5 called against Galerie Dominic, 4 against Crispa. 16-10 for the Redmonizers. Cesar.
Now, Cesar can do that all day and all night. Balani cannot allow Cesar to get position like that in the lane. And if he does get it, some of the Galerie Dominique players are going to have to help out.
Torrente is crowded. He's open.
Larry Fogle, the best offensive rebounding import in the league, gets most of his points off the offensive boards, and most of his points come from within the shaded area.
Well, he's offensive oriented at the very first second. He's got 8 points already. We have a turnover because of a bad pass intended for Cesar. Fogle, good fake.
There again, you see Larry Fogle, all his points coming from very close to the basket, which gives him the opportunity, if he should miss, to get his own offensive rebound.
Hitting the back rim, Atoiko still looking for his first point from the floor. It's a 4-point game being enjoyed by Galerie, by Crispa Redmanizers.
That's a very discouraging miss. Larry Fogle was double teamed. He's looking for the open man, and they don't hit the jump shot.
Larry just took it away from Fabiosa. All of a sudden, it's a 2-point game. Bates, immediately you found 3 players from Galerie, Dominic covering him. Torrente was there together with Junicio and Dalman. There is a deliberate foul called against Torrente.
Let's take a look at this on slow motion. Deliberate foul. It's not his foul in the act of shooting. He will be given 2 free throws because of a deliberate foul.
We have a timeout. We'll be right back. Bates taking 2 free throws, looking for his 7th and 8th point because of a deliberate foul. By the way, June 16th is the date everybody is making red letter marks, because June 16th is going to be the big day with the arrival of the tremendous lot of soul, a whole lot of love event, and with Peaches and Herbs combining their best in soul, pop and rhythm and blues. June 16th, they'll be performing at the Philippine Plaza Ballroom for the dinner show, and 17th and 18th at the Folk Arts Theater for the popular concerts. This is brought to you by Sony, the one and only, in cooperation with Boysen Paints. Bates not discouraged. Steve, with Fogle getting now 2 personal fouls, so that offensive call called against him, this could hurt Galerie Dominic.
Well, I think that Larry Fogle has to continue to play his game, because if he plays a little bit cautiously, the Galerie Dominic team will just fall too far behind, and if the coaching staff of Galerie Dominic wants to give him a rest at this early stage of the ball game, they might not be able to come back from the deficit that Crispa might be able to post. So Larry Fogle, he's got to play until he fouls out of the ball game.
And Cesar just got his 3rd personal foul, and the last one was a warning call on him. Larry Fogle was pushed from behind, so acting coach Bernie had to rest Cesar.
Technical foul, Cesar.
And we have a technical foul called on Cesar, who was uttering words when he was already in the bench.
Well, I'll tell you, this is one big difference with the coaching of Tommy Minotok, and this is sort of an intangible in coaching. It seems that when Coach Tommy Minotok is on the bench getting his team going and coaching the ball club, the players have a tendency to not utter words to the officials. They concentrate more on basketball, and they leave it to Tommy Minotok to talk to the officials. I think that's the big difference with Coach Tommy Minotok in the game.
You're talking about discipline here and the respect to authority, and Fogle scoring now his 15th point, but Galerie Dominic is in team foul trouble. They're over the limit with 4 and 12 to go.
Well, that's why, Pingoy, it's very important that the coach on the bench does talk to the officials, because sometimes if the team ball players do not feel that the coach is talking to the officials, they will feel it's their chore to do so. So it's important that the coach speaks to the referee every now and then and lets him know the feelings of his ball players.
Speaking of feelings, Torrente has to feel good with that shot from the outside, cutting down the lead of Crispa to only 1 point. And Bates gets a blocking foul from Dalman. And since Galerie Dominic is in penalty situation, he goes to the line.
Well, let's take a look at this drive here. Billy Ray Bates just a little bit too quick, and Dalman not able to get there in time to pick up the offensive foul. One thing the teams in the PBA have been trying to do against Billy Ray Bates is foul him as much as possible.
And Bates just scored his 12th point. Compared to Fogle, who's got 15 points. 2 fouls, however, called against Fogle and 1 on Bates. 16 fouls called against Crispa, and a good play between Junicio and Torrente. Torrente has been very supportive. He's got 6 points.
Junicio making a very nice pass, and that's something he should continue to do. Stop dribbling the ball and make some more good passes.
Call offline. And before Villamin, who checked in for Cesar, could go up, there was a foul. It's a lock ball, not a foul. And it will be Balani jumping against Villamin. 3-24 in the first quarter.
Yes, and I think if one guy is going to shine for the Redmanizers tonight, it's going to be Villamin. There's nobody on the Galerie Dominique team that can stay with Villamin, and he should really have a field day tonight.
In and out. Well, Villamin last Thursday, June 2nd, fired 15 points and had 5 rebounds. He's been very steady. He's been scoring from the floor. Fabiosa crowded by Torrente. Looking for a cutter, doesn't find one. Here's Kidabin inside to Fabiosa. Pass was a little bit too wide. Under 3 minutes, there's a timeout being asked by acting coach Berg. We'll be right back. Here is the personal foul situation on men on the court for Galerie Dominic. Balani, Dalman, and Fogle are playing with 2 personal fouls apiece. Torrente has 1. Junicio is the only one clean. While Kidabin has 2, Bates 1, none on Villaminco and Fabiosa. Here's Torrente being checked by Fabiosa. He was able to put it up. Fogle inside.
Oh, that's going to be big trouble.
Oh, this is bad news. It is an offensive foul called against Fogle, bringing him to his 3rd personal foul.
Okay, let's see what the coaching staff of Galerie Dominique does at this point. They don't really have too many players that can come off the bench and replace Larry Fogle.
And here is Bates. We have a turnover. A traveling call has been called against Bates. There are only 4 boosters in the bench of Galerie Dominic, and that is Merced. We also have Vicente being called now, Taguines, and Tierra's a backcourt man.
And you can see Larry Fogle on that play. He's not even thinking about his 3 personal fouls. Larry Fogle, when he shoots the ball at the basket, he's always moving into the hoop. He very rarely takes a fadeaway jump shot. And that's why he's very prone to pick up offensive fouls.
The first personal foul called against Obiosa brings the Redmanizers to their 7th team foul, so they too are in team foul trouble. With the 2 conversions of Fogle, brings Galerie Dominic to a 1-point lead, 25-24, with 2 and 10 before the end of the first. Villamin in the high post. Fabiosa looking for space, being glued by Torrente. Here comes Dalman.
Pretty good defense so far being displayed by Galerie Dominique. They're slowing down the tempo of the game, and they're forcing Crispa to take low percentage shots.
Here is Dalman switching very quickly to defend his Fabiosa. Open man was Junicio.
Well, you can see that Galerie Dominique is using the full 25 seconds. In other words, they're waiting for the best shot that is available.
Fogle from the line and from the hard court. They're now on top by 3 points. Kidaben put it up, no basket, however, drew a foul, and everybody's holding their breath. It will be called against Fogle, and that is his 4th. Body contact called against Larry Fogle, and they are in serious trouble. 4th personal foul. Here comes Vicente.
Well, this is something as an ex-coach or a former coach that I find very appalling. Vicente was on the sideline waiting to come in for Fogle even before Fogle picked up his 4th personal foul, which leads to tell me that if the coaching staff made a decision of replacing Larry Fogle, they should have replaced him before he picked up his 4th personal foul.
That's true. They could have looked for an occasion or asked for a timeout so that Vicente could come in.
Right. If they were going to leave him in the game and he picked up his 4th personal foul, that's okay. But they had the intentions of replacing him, and just a little bit too late.
They could have spared him of that misery. Anyway, Cruz came in for Fabiosa. He's been assigned to cover Torrente. Torrente on a fake drive. Open is Junicio.
Now, you mentioned to me before we came out tonight, Pingwa, that if the Galerie Dominique guards can contribute some points, it will verify their offense or diversify their offense, and it might take some pressure off of Larry Fogle. Fogle is on the bench now, so it's a must-score situation for all the locals on Galerie Dominique.
Well, to over-rely on your import is not going to make the team look good. Sure, the import will do his job, and he'd like to contribute. However, the locals have to hit from the floor and you've got good pair of hands from Junicio and Torrente. It's just getting that feel. Now, they're also playing with a handicap. Their tall man playing the inside is injured, and I'm referring to Javier. And their hit man, the swing man, and that is Benji, got hurt last Sunday, so he's finished for the next 2 weeks. A tremendous pressure and the responsibility for Torrente and Junicio to go with the flow of the game, the feel of the ring, is very imperative. Kidaben goes to the bench, and Kidaben had 2 personal fouls, brought down 4 defensive rebounds and 2 points. Here is Ubalde.
Now, sometimes when you only have 9 players on the bench, it brings out the best in the 9 players that can play in the basketball game. They know that they're going to be getting the time exposure, and they have plenty of time on the court to gel. Here's a guy like Vicente. Doesn't usually get too much playing time, but because Javier and Poblete are out of the game, Vicente knows that he's going to get playing time, and he's not apprehensive about the type of shots that he's going to take.
Well, the attitude changes. You know that the buck stops here, and you've got to really put the proper frame of mind. Villamin was able to stop Vicente on the turnaround shot, but fouled him, hit him on the hand. Again, is back in action, going back to the bench is Dalman, who was trying to play the shooter from the right wing, but he just couldn't succeed. That is not his area. Here is Mon Cruz of Crispa. We have 30 seconds before the end of the first. Ubalde from 19 feet.
Oh, yeah, tough shot. Only a few seconds to go in this first period. Ubalde was on the bench for about 20 minutes of clock time, and he was able to hit the jump shot cold off the bench.
Galerie by 2, enough time for 1 play. Junicio looks at the clock. It says 10 seconds. Aguines fires. Too strong. Torrente may be able to put it up before that horn. He gets the basket. Cristobal checked in a little while back. Gets caught and no count. So at the end of the first quarter, we have a fighting team from Galerie Dominic. They're leading by 4 points, 32-28. We'll be right back.
Yes, it is, and let's take a look at the leading scorers. You'll see why they were ahead. Larry Fogle on the bench with 4 personal fouls. Billy Ray Bates going to the basket in the background there. He has 15 points now, 13 in the first period. Torrente, he was a big difference in that first period, scoring 8 points. And Philip Cesar with a couple of personal fouls and 6 points.
We have a turnover. Damlani was checked for a moment. He hesitated, and he who hesitates loses all. So we have a turnover, and this crowd is just admirable, in spite of the fact that Crispa is coming into this game highly rated against a lowly rated team like Crispa Redmanizers. They're here. They would like to watch and enjoy the performance of Bates, but I think in large part they have a very high admiration for the quality of the imports this year. Good hit from long range by Torrente.
You know, that's definitely true, Pingoy, and I'm very glad that you brought up that point. The level of imports that we have in the reinforced conference this year is a beautiful conglomeration. You have guys with great attitudes. Of course, they have fantastic raw abilities. Donnie Ray Kuntz, the MVP last year. Norman Black, just a Class A individual. And Billy Ray Bates blending with a very strong local lineup. Kevin Porter, great individual talent, has yet to blend with his team, but yet keeps a great attitude. And I think the class of the imports that are in the league this year is the reason why the reinforced conference is such a fine conference to watch.
Well, the testimonial is right here. The fans, despite the fact that we had rain, came here, and they do recognize the high level of commitment from the quality of the imports, and they've been talking to their teammates, encouraging the locals to play above par, and I think they're just a delight to coach.
Well, I think the most important point about the imports is that no import on any team is looking to be the individual star. All 8 imports are looking to make sure that their team wins the basketball game.
And Villamin just got his first 2 points in this second quarter of play, with the score standing 34-32 for Galerie Dominic. Merced in action now for Galerie Dominic. McGuinness on the outside, got his bearings and got the basket. Ten minutes in the second quarter. Bates playing the outside. McGuinness upon him. shooting from long range, and Williamin almost had a piece of it.
And you can see that so far, Galerie Dominique has yet to fast break once with the basketball. They're just bringing that ball up very slowly.
And Galerie Dominic is playing all Filipino because Larry Fogle received his 4th personal foul with 30 seconds before the end of the first.
Well, I think that if Galerie Dominique can play even basketball or close to even basketball with the Redmondizers, Larry Fogle will not see action until the second half of this ball game.
Well, Coach Cholo Martin must be delighted with his team. They're playing ball together, and again, Freddy Hubalde fires from long range. That is his 4th point. Had a hit in the first quarter. 9 and 20 in this first half. Here is Vicente. Check again by Williamin. It's a clean block this time.
But then again, Vicente must continue to do that. If he has the ball close to the basket, he's got to go up with the shot.
Running shot from Taguines. And Vicente did not leave his post. He was ready to give that offensive rebound just in case. Normally, he would swing outside and then try to work inside, but this time he's paying attention to the instructions of the coach. Bates from 16 feet.
Going back to that point about Vicente, if you're a big man in the basketball game, you should not turn your back on the player with the ball until you are certain that that player has shot the basketball. Sometimes you'll see the player go up with the basketball and make a pass. You have to be ready to receive that pass. Don't turn your back and go for the offensive rebound before the shot is taken.
Well, the locals of GD are doing exactly that. They're on top by a basket. It's 38-36 with 8 and 18 to go. Mon Cruz loses control, so we have a turnover. Inbounding will be Torrente. So far, the backcourt men of GD are just fine. They're doing splendidly.
Well, there's an example of why you should always pressure your man in the backcourt, Pingoy, because if that man, like Mon Cruz, should have a lapse in his basketball dribbling, you might be able to pick up the steal. If you're standing too far away from him, the ball will just go out of bounds. And you see the stats, Galerie Dominique taking 26 shots, 54%. Crispa Redmondizers, only 15 shots. Even though they shot 67%, that's not enough shots to win a basketball game.
And in spite of the fact that they were only at 54%, Galerie Dominic came out on top at the end of the first, 4 points, 32-28.
And Galerie Dominique has been stopping the Crispa fast break. Crispa has not even been able to go on the fast break.
And on pacing, it is being controlled by great pace. They're very deliberate. When there's an open man that would pass and work it in very closely. Here comes Vicente. One fake. He is not discouraged at getting the basket after 3 tries.
Beautiful. That's really beautiful.
That's a man that is really determined. He's going to show him. Here's Hubalde. Vicente comes out to challenge him. And play broken up by Merced. And last touch was Williamin.
It's very easy to see what's happening here. The Crispa Redmondizers like the fast break. They like to play a wide-open brand of basketball. But because Galerie Dominique is packing their defenses in so close to the basket, it's making Crispa force the issue. They're trying to force the ball in too tight where there is really no room to make a pass.
Cruz recalled by acting coach Bernie. Bates, Junicio there waiting for him. While this is a mismatch, Junicio is doing his role and trying to break up the momentum of Bates, who fires.
Oh, boy.
19 feet.
Nothing Junicio can do about that one. Junicio knows he's a small man, and the only way to stop that shot is before Billy Ray Bates goes up with it. Junicio blocked the ball on the ground, but Bates too strong.
13 points in the first quarter, add another 6, a total of 19 so far for Bates. And a good hit coming from Tierra, just checked in a little while back, his first basket. Yes, it's a 4-point game, Steve.
I spoke to Marty Tierra before the basketball game, and I told him he has to take at least 10 shots in this basketball game this evening.
Pass was telegraphed. Here comes Merced. Fabiosa's there, zigzagging, no basket, but drew a foul from Fabiosa. You know, some of the players, Steve, of Galerie Dominic could be standouts if they were playing, you know, another team. But just because it's lowly rated, there could be the perspective that they're so-so players, but they're not. Individually, they're talented and they can hold their own.
Well, that's definitely true, Pingway. If you're a ball player and you have a choice of playing with a good team and not getting too much playing time, as opposed to playing with a weaker team and being one of the starters, my feeling always was play with the better team. You will always play better basketball, and if you work hard enough, you can break into the starting lineup.
2 from the line from Merced, and Galerie Dominic is doing just splendidly well from the line. He'd have been back in action. We have 5 and 49 before the end of the first half. A foul called against Tunisia. That is his first. There's a timeout being asked by acting coach Bernie. We'll be right back. With 5 and 49 at the moment, we have Galerie at 44 and Crispa Redmanizers at 39. Could be 40 depending on Bernie.
Now, I feel that Larry Fogle on the bench is actually a blessing in disguise for Galerie, Dominique, because the local players realize that they have to do it, and they cannot rely on their import. And that might really bring out the best in the local players, and so far they've been able to hold their own. When Larry Fogle went out of the game, Galerie was only up by 2 points. They're now up by 4 points.
Well, so far you could see that individually they're responding. A second on the shot clock. Tunisia was able to put it up with a second to spare, and last touch was on Idabin. But here are the contributions to enter the basket in this second quarter, together with Merced. Also a field basket from Tierra, 4 points from Taguines, and 2 from the line by Vicente. Vicente now has 5 points.
Well, this is a prime example. Vicente knows he has to do it. Fogle is out of the game. Javier and Poblete are injured, and Vicente is rising to the occasion.
And Taguines just got his second defensive rebound. So definitely Galerie Dominic may pull some surprises here. There are definitely no pushovers, at least in this first half of the contest. They're on top by 6 points. It's 46-40. We're under 5 minutes. 4 on the shot clock. Good cut by Taguines. Hit the back rim. Cristobal. Back again to Ubalde, being pressed by Merced. Good inside pass. Oh, but back rim shot from Cristobal. Follow up by Kidabin.
Let's take a look at the Galerie Dominique offense. They're wasting too much time bringing up the basketball. I'm not saying that they should rush, but they have to start looking for their shot with at least 10 or 12 seconds to go on the shot clock. You see now there's only 10 seconds to go on the shot clock, and they're not in shooting position. Well, there they go.
And Tierra responded very quickly. He's got 4 points to his credit. Again, it's a 6-point spurt established here by Galerie Dominic. They had it at 44-38 and now 48-42. Ubalde looking for space, getting the basket. 6 points to his credit.
And Freddie Ubalde looks very smooth this evening.
Taguines is playing with 2 personal fouls. Merced, Dionisio, and Vicente, 1 apiece. We have a turnover and a bad pass coming from Tierra.
Well, Marty Tierra found himself in the wrong offensive position. Marty Tierra has to be on the wing or the point, where he can do the most damage, where he can shoot from the outside or make some good passes.
As we watch Crispa set up their patterns, oh, beautiful alley-oop pass. Bates going up on a pass from Fabiosa. By the way, the ambiance and elegance of old Spanish Manila will soon come alive, just like the shot of Bates. At Macari Avenue, Doña Nena's, Steve, a Spanish specialty restaurant serving the famous Albert Paella and Lengua. Oh, that's a knockout. Watch for its grand opening.
Yes, and we have a traveling violation on that play. And going back to Billy Ray Bates and the slam dunk, Billy Ray Bates has already established a conference record for most dunk shots within one conference. And the Crispa team has only played 5.5 ball games.
And you know, when we were talking to Bates in the locker room, he said, you haven't seen nothing yet. Kidaben just plucked it out from there, and here comes Cristobal. There's a foul called against Dionisio. He knew it, and that is his second personal foul. We have a timeout being asked by Martin. We'll be right back.
Yes, and we have Tito Varela now in the basketball game for the Crispa team. And I feel that Tito is in there really for defensive reasons, Galerie Dominic has been able to take shots at will from wherever they want. And Varela, very good decision by Bernie Bernardo to give Varela a chance to play in this ball game.
The second personal foul on Vicente off Kidaben brings Galerie Dominic to their 6th team foul, as opposed to the Redmanizers' only 1 team foul.
Yes, and I think that's a good sign on the Galerie Dominic side. It means that they're playing a very aggressive defense. They might get hurt going over the limit, and Crispa might be able to take some free throws. But then again, they have to do that if they want to win this ball game. They have to foul and play aggressive defense.
Here comes Fogle, seeing Fabiosa open, and we have the Redmanizers back on top by 1 point.
Yes, and that's the first really true fast break that Crispa has been able to pull off in this basketball game.
You know, during the timeout, I would like to speculate that Coach Martin told his players not to eat up the shot clock and, you know, to pass that ball very quickly, take the shot, and don't dilly-dally. Inside hit coming from Tierra. However, before that correction, it was Balani hitting from the inside. When they followed the instruction, the change in the personality of their pattern created a turnover. Good hit from Kidaben. I guess they just have to be a little bit more diligent.
Well, that's right. You cannot change horses in midstream, Pingoy. If the coach tells you guys to start taking shots a lot more quicker, you have to do it gradually. Otherwise, like you said, you'll come up with turnovers, and Crispa will start the fast break.
Tierra, nothing there, fighting for possession. He wins out. Being pressed by Ubalde. Foul from behind, called against Freddy. His first personal foul brings Crispa to the 2nd team foul. We have 1 minute and 17. Oh, what a lovely, lovely clock here at the Coliseum.
It tells you everything but your birthday.
Good hit coming from Tierra. 6 points. Top scoring in the 2nd quarter for Galerie Dominic. Fogle has been on the bench because of 4 personal fouls. Board shot from Kidaben. 10 points for Abet.
It's a very important psychological aspect that Galerie Dominic goes into the locker room ahead by even just 1 point. Psychologically, it can boost them in the second half.
And Merced, in spite of the fact that Obale was trying to get it from behind, managed to get his basket and pushing Galerie Dominic on top by 1.
And there's a classic example. If you're going back on defense, you must backtrack. In other words, you must run backwards. This way you can see where the ball is coming. Merced could have picked off that pass if he was running with his back to the basket rather than his back to the basketball.
Very true, because Tierra called his attention on that. And here's Kidaben. Balani getting his 3rd defensive rebound. He's doing fine for Galerie Dominic. 25 seconds. They're on top by 1 point. Here is Merced. Tierra. Kidaben touching it last. Hit the line, the baseline. So with 11 seconds, Steve, I think Galerie Dominic still has a chance for 1 shot.
And that should be a technical foul right there. You know, anytime your player bounces the basketball in disgust and it bounces over his head, the rule book says that should be a technical foul. And Marty Tierra did that on the last play. He was disgusted at the miss. There it goes again. There it is. There's a technical foul.
And the technical was called against Varela. And, you know, this is one time the referee was really paying attention to that move of Varela, and that was referee De Los Reyes.
Well, what happened, as I said earlier, it was Marty Tierra that did that. They only gave Marty Tierra a warning. In that situation, there was no warning. And Tito Varela was caught because of the warning given to Marty Tierra.
Well, 2 wrongs can make 1 right, but the point of Tito was, why me? Why not also him?
Now, if you're going to bounce that ball in disgust on the ground, you make sure you catch it before it goes over your shoulder. You could pound that ball on the ground as hard as you want. Don't let it go over your shoulder, otherwise it's a T-bird. And
3 points for Balani.
It's a 3-point lead for Galerie Dominic.
4 seconds. Fabiosa wants this basket. There goes the horn, ending the first 24 seconds of tremendous action from Galerie Dominic. You better believe it, because they're on top by 3 points.
Oh, look at this job. Look at the job that Galerie, Dominique, is doing. They're not shooting very well in this last few minutes, but they're still getting the offensive rebounds. That's the 5th offensive rebound in the second half.
Delman is open. Team no baskets. They had 4 opportunities. Vicente was key, keeping it alive a little while back. Here is Kidaben, side move, and a beautiful play. Cesar scoring from Kidaben's pass. Crispa on top now. They're in the driver's seat by 1 point. It's 63-62. The fans of the Redmonizers cheering in the background. Defense. Here is Merced in the running shot, a little bit short. Fogle underneath, and it's a lock ball between Fogle and Kidaben. We have 6 and 40 in the third quarter.
You know, normally we would say that Larry Fogle at this point has to play his basketball game regardless of the amount of fouls that he has. But I don't feel that that is the case in this situation because the locals have been playing so well. Larry Fogle should not commit any unnecessary fouls. He should really be very careful about committing some fouls.
Bates on a dunk. They're on top by 3. Tagiles back in action. Here's Vicente. Tagiles really fighting like a tiger. No count. Backing off foul called against Billy Ray Bates. That's his 2nd personal foul. Well, in the matchup, it is import versus import. Bates guarding Fogle. 3 seconds called against Fogle. We have a turnover.
Well, that's a pretty good move having Bates on Fogle because Fogle does have the 4 personal fouls. Bates is relatively clean with only 2 personal fouls.
Pass intercepted by Merced. He leaned as soon as that bounce was executed. Here is Fogle being jammed. Good block by Israel. And there is a foul called against on Fogle for foul. That's his 5th personal foul. This could be trouble for Fogle. We have a timeout. We'll be right back.
Yes, and Tagiles continues to shoot hot. And they need these points from Atoy Ko, and he finally gets one.
And Atoy must feel good with that shot. Incidentally, Larry Fogle had to be relieved. He's got 5 personal fouls. He had 15 points, all coming in the first quarter. 17 points, rather. He had nothing in the third, and he sat out the second quarter.
And you can see that Galerie, Dominique, is scraping and jumping and trying to get that loose ball. If they can't get possession, they're just trying to tap the ball.
15 on the shot clock. Delman taking it from the outside. Bates saving it for Crispa. They're on top by 3. It is 67-64. Cesar playing with 3 personal fouls. He caught it very early in the first quarter. A little short from Rainbow territory. It's a 4-2 break. Tagiles from outside, getting it.
Nice play by Merced. Stopping at the foul line, waiting for his men to fill the lanes with a short jump shot.
Aside from Torrentes' hit in the third quarter, so far, the big man here is Tagiles. Cole going up, and he hits the deck, taking the plunge together with Merced. It is a foul from Merced. He was trying to help out Junicio as Cole went up.
And to give you an example of the depth and the versatility of the Crispa Redmonizer ball players, you see a player like Billy Ray Bates, 6'5", the biggest man on the ball club, now that Mamaril is gone. Billy Ray Bates coming out of the basketball game, and who replaces him? One of the smallest players, Bernie Fabiosa. That just means that one of the other players like Philip Cesar and Atoy Ko will move to a forward position. Versatility within the players on the team.
Steve, you are referring to the initial submission on the height of Billy Ray Bates. Officially double-checking your records now, he's at 6'3".
He shrunk.
And we asked him about that. Nothing from Vicente from inside. Board now being controlled by Crispa. And there is a foul called against Vicente, hustling a little bit too much. And there is a technical being called against the bench of Galerie, Dominic. Well, going back to the height of Bates, when we talked to him when he first arrived, he said, in the NBA, you tend to go upwards because you don't want to really say that that's it, 6'3". They're looking really for height, and he became the NBA Player of the Week. He was really outstanding.
Well, what they do here in the PBA as far as handicapping is concerned, if you fall below, and this is unofficial, I'm making an unofficial statement here, that if you fall within the height barrier and yet you don't go over the additional inch, in other words, if your height limit is 6'3" and you're 6'3.5" or 3/4, they'll state you as 6'3".
Galerie Dominic in team foul trouble. They have 10 seconds on the shot clock. Kidaben going up and coming down with the basket for his 15th point.
Now, the investment on the part of the Crispa Redmondizers might be a long-term one, and it might catch up with Galerie Dominic. I'm referring to the personal foul trouble and the team foul trouble that Galerie Dominic is falling into right now.
Guinness had to come out. He was been asking for the pass. He knows he's got the hot hand. From the outside, Dionisio, nothing from Rainbow territory. Guinness protecting that ball with his body. Beautiful execution.
Yes, using his left hand, as you said, to protect the ball, to protect the defensive man with his body.
Don't count out Galerie Dominic while this is only the third quarter. It's a 3-point game, 71-68. And Fabiosa trying to get that offensive rebound. Gets tagged, and the foul is called against Vicente. And that is also his 5th personal foul. Personal timeout being asked by Coach Bernie. We'll be right back. At the end of the first quarter, it was Galerie Dominic by 4 points, 32-28. And then it was very close in the second quarter. Crispa came out on top by 1 point only, 25-24. And at the end of the half, it was 56 for Galerie Dominic and 53 for Crispa. But in this third, it's a different story. Right now, it is a 5-point game being enjoyed by the Redmondizers.
Yes, and the shooting percentage of Galerie Dominic has gone down dramatically.
Balani returns to the court, and we have a foul called against Esquera, who just checked in for the first time during the break.
Yes, that's a pretty good move by Bernie Bernardo. Itoy Esquera, noted for his offensive abilities, and he could spark the team.
In case you're wondering what happened to Fogle, well, he's sitting it out because of 5 personal fouls, made 17 points, all in the first quarter, so no action in the second, and had nothing on the third. And he was relieved when he got his 5th personal foul.
If I remember correctly, Pingoy, there was one game last year where James Robinson, the import of the Galerie Dominic team at that time, had a knee injury. And Galerie Dominic went out against a very tough team. I think it was either Gilbey's or Iko Tanduai. And they pulled a very stunning upset in that basketball game.
That's true. They were so fired up. And I've got their import's name on the tip of my tongue. I just can't bear it out. But that was a...
James Robinson.
James Robinson. And they were so inspired. And this could be what's happening to Galerie Dominic right now. Kidaben losing possession, keeping back the control. Here comes Cesar. Cross pass going to Paul. Good shot.
Okay, and the momentum slowly but surely going in the favor of the Redmondizers. They now enjoy a 5-point lead. It's very important that Galerie Dominic starts making some of these shots. Otherwise, Crispa's going to pull ahead.
Speaking of 5 points, there's a number of points coming from Ko, all in this third period. Here comes Bernie. He does a lot of things for Crispa. Cesar. The Redmondizers accelerating their pace. Great ball movement. They're letting that ball travel. We have 51 seconds before the end of the third quarter.
Galerie Dominic is not taking the shot in a fluid motion. They get the shot, they wait a couple of seconds, and then they take the attempt at the basket. The first half, they were moving very swiftly.
Balani losing it, and good roll. Going to, I think the credit is on Merced. Oh, fast movement here. Cesar and Kidaben teaming effectively, and Kidaben getting the basket.
Okay, the shot clock is off. There's 18 seconds to go. The Redmondizers for a 7-point lead. Very important basket for Galerie Dominic.
Kidaben now has got 17 points. 7 seconds. Inside to Taguines.
1 second.
But Kidaben wanted to push it up or even make an attempt, but he knew he didn't have the momentum for it, nor the strength, so he just gave it to Cesar. A dunk from Super Bates, and that starts off the fourth quarter. And Junicio, watch it once more.
And, you know, you read that letter at halftime about the dunk shot only being worth 2 points, but I think it's worth a lot more than 2 points. The momentum to start this fourth period on a dunk shot can carry the team the rest of the way. You see Billy Ray Bates is very inspired. The rest of his teammates have been uplifted by that dunk shot. It can contribute a lot.
And a little while ago, you had the scoring by periods flashed on the screen, Steve.
Well, the key in that little bit of a flash that we didn't get to see was that Crispa outscored Galerie Dominic 26-18 in the third period.
And once again, you see the scoring by periods. The Redmanizers adjusting their defensive rotation, preventing Galerie Dominic from having access in the lane, and they had to score mostly from the outside. Malani now on his fourth personal foul. Fogle is sitting it out because of 5 personal fouls together with Vicente, who played like a tiger.
Yes, I think if the lead goes up by more than 10 points, 9 or 10 points, then it's going to be time for Larry Fogle to come into the basketball game. He'll definitely come into the game with at least 7 or 8 minutes to go. But if Galerie can stay close, they'll give him a couple extra minutes on the bench.
Right now we are under 11 minutes with the score standing 83-76 in favor of the Redmanizers. Bates covering Taguines. Bates knows that Taguines can hit from the outside. Good block, but Malani still hanging on to possession. Blocked by Bates. Fast break by Crispa. 2-on-2. Call from 16 feet. Good boxing out by Junicio. Here comes Torrente. Esquerra keeping an eye on him. Malani, one move, but Fabiosa is just a magician. Good steal. Cesar faking.
Makes it look so easy.
I think Martin may have to ask for a timeout here and talk to his boys.
Well, you see, Billy Ray Bates has been clogging up the middle for the Redmanizers, and Galerie Dominic is hesitating at taking the shot at the basket.
After enjoying an 8-point lead during the early part on 2 occasions, this is now the biggest lead posted so far by the Redmanizers. They're on top by 9. Galerie Dominic has been limited to only 1 attempt. Here comes Balani, sidestepping, avoiding Cesar. After making 3 points in the second quarter, another 4 points from Balani for a total of 7. So far, he's the only player from Galerie Dominic that has responded from the floor. Bates now has 31 points. Torrente keeps on going. Dalman on a very high arch.
And there you could see that Galerie Dominic scores whenever Crispa has a miscue on offense. Galerie Dominic defense has been their best offense.
Esquerra.
And nobody even there from the Crispa team to try to pick off the offensive rebound. The entire Crispa team was out of position.
The 9-point lead of the Redmanizers cut down to 5. Here's the man responsible for it. Nothing there from Balani this time. Cole finding Cesar, one fake.
Well, somebody has to make a conscious effort on the Galerie Dominic team to stay with Philip Cesar, even when Galerie Dominic has the basketball. If Philip Cesar is going to continue to do that, you have to play him on defense, even when you're on offense.
They have to, because what's happening right now, the minute a player from Galerie Dominic goes for the basket, Cesar is ready scooting up.
Yes, and here you see Atoiko doing the same thing.
Oh, what a nice pitch and a great shot.
Joe Namath.
Galerie Dominic down by 7. 8-5. Dalman fighting it out there and draws a foul while he was trying to tip it in, and the foul is called against Bates. Has got now 4 personal fouls. We have a timeout. We'll be right back. 8 minutes and a second to go with Crispa on top by 7 points. Could be cut down depending on Dalman. And as we watch him take his second free throw, don't forget that on Thursday, June 9, don't fail to watch a very exciting game between two very strong teams. Great Taste and Toyota live at 7:30, followed by another match between Sunkist and San Miguel Beer at 9:30 on delayed telecast basis. 8 points for Delman.
Okay, and Larry Fogle is coming to the ball game now with a little under 8 minutes to go in the ball game. Still a very close battle. Crispa up by 5. They're struggling to try to pull away, but Galerie Dominique has been playing very sticky defense.
Bad bounce coming from Fabiosa, just plucked away by Dionisio. Taguines, who's been hitting from the outside, fails this time. And Fogle just got his first basket in the second half. 19 points, 17 made in the first quarter.
And there you could see that Galerie Dominique was ahead in the first period, and then it was pretty close. And Crispa in the third period pulling away by 8. I think that Larry Fogle has a distinct advantage at this point against Billy Ray Bates. Even though Fogle has 5 personal fouls, he's very well rested. He's got a lot of energy in him.
That was a Class A play created by Dionisio, hitting at the last second Delman after a drive-and-draw play. And Delman responding for a basket, and we now have a 1-point game. Still Crispa just by 1. At the corner, it's Ko. Great shot.
Yes, and many people in the Coliseum felt that once Crispa went up by 5, 6, 7, 8 points, that was going to be the end of the ball game. But Galerie Dominique playing very tough.
They're in for a surprise, and this is delighting the fans here at the Coliseum. Delman Torrente was jammed by Fabiosa. It's a foul call against Bernie. That is his third personal foul. Now Coach Bernardo is resting Ko, and Cristobal returns.
Now Coach Bernie Bernardo decided to bring in by Cristobal before the shot was made by Atoy Ko. If Bernie Bernardo felt that Atoy Ko was catching fire, he did not have to continue with his substitution. He could have left Cristobal on the bench, left Atoy Ko out there a couple of more plays to see if Atoy was going to continue to shoot straight.
Fogle's 21 point, and here comes Bates, who wants it right back. Ovalde, and we have a foul under the basket. It's a loose ball foul. It is called against Torrente for his third personal foul on team fouls, 2 against Great Taste, and 3 already called against Crispa. Galerie Dominic, I'm sorry. We have Cesar going back to the bench at Cristobal, back in action. Inside to Ovalde, he does that so effectively.
David should have been double teamed on the high post. If he was, he would never have been able to make that pass to Ovalde.
Here's Torrente on the outside. It's a 3-point game. Torrente moving closer. Out to Dionisio. It's 93-90. We have 5 and 48. And Torrente was moving already for a cut, so we have a turnover.
That's why you have to make eye-to-eye contact between the players when you pass that basketball. Torrente made a good move to the basket. It's nobody's error. Taguines 12 points in the third period. Gidabin 7, Bates and Cesar 6 points apiece. Billy Ray Bates has been pretty quiet in this basketball game.
Pass a little bit too strong for Cristobal to handle. We have 5 and 25.
Yes, at this point, Galerie Dominique should start going inside to Larry Fogle.
Delman, nothing there, but here comes Fogle.
Okay, that's pretty good. Larry Fogle, like we said, he's full of juice. He's ready to play ball. He has 5 minutes to turn the basketball game around. In that third quarter, the shooting percentage pretty low for Galerie, but then again, they made 9 field goals. Crispa shot very well. They only made 11.
Here is Ovalde. And Dionisio pulls down his third defensive rebound. We have 4 and 50 to go in this ball game. Action is up there. It is a 1-point game. Crispa only by 1. Fogle fake. Up he goes. Gets hit on the chin. He's feeling whether his teeth are still there.
And who would have thought, with less than 5 minutes to go in the ball game, Galerie Dominique was
dreaming. But that's right, folks, because Galerie Dominique has got the eye of the tiger, although they were just positive during the third quarter. 18 points are coming back very strong, and Fabiosa playing very smart. It is a foul called against Fogle.
Fogle, 6 fouls.
It is 6 fouls, and that is the end of Fogle's performance because of 6 fouls.
Timeout.
And Larry Fogle has to be very careful now.
3.
let's take a look here at this play. Bernie Fabiosa, very intelligent. He knows that Fogle has the 5 personal fouls, and you know, even if that was a foul or if it wasn't a foul, Larry Fogle should have just let Bernie Fabiosa go into the basket because of the time remaining in the basketball game and the value that Larry Fogle has to the team. So yes, and plenty of 5s for Larry Fogle. 25 points, 5 rebounds. Larry Fogle only played 15 minutes and 45 seconds in this basketball game.
Well, he contributed 25 points, had 17 in the first quarter, and then another 8 in this fourth and last period, and pulled down 4 offensive rebounds.
Okay, let's see what the Galerie Dominique team is really made up of now. They got 4 minutes. Yes,
believe it or not, Steve, we only have 2 deadlocks. 2 all, and now, right now, 94 all.
And 0-0.
4 minutes and 5 seconds. Ubalde on Delman, asking for a pick. Inside bounce pass, broken up by Ubalde, but there's a body foul called against Freddy Ubalde.
And on the team fouls, you see that the Crispa Redmanizers have 4 team fouls, and for Galerie Dominique, only 3 team fouls.
The Redmanizers only incurred team foul trouble during the first quarter. They had 3 and 2 in the second and the third, and right now they're in 4th team foul. Bates going out a little bit, keeping an eye on Taguines. Here is Torrente going to Delman. At the corner is Taguines with 3 and 47.
Yes, and only 10 seconds to go on the shot clock.
A pushing foul, offensive foul, called against Vicente. He too will be joining Fogle, who is disqualified because of 6 personal fouls.
Yes, and this is what we spoke about earlier, the long-term investment that the Redmanizers were making, getting the big men of the Galerie Dominique team into foul trouble. We have that Dalman coming into the, we have Balani coming into the basketball game now. Everybody speaks about the last few minutes of the Galerie Dominique team being the very reason for their downfall. The last few minutes of Galerie Dominique has always been very weak. And let's see if tonight they can just change that rumor or that fact.
Well, that's one player that can make things happen for Galerie Dominique, Junicio. Hurried shot coming from Balani, nothing there. And Vicente left the game with 6 fouls, 5 points. Here comes Junicio, up he goes, breaking the deadlock and pushing GD up top by a basket.
Yes, very big hoop there, psychologically as well as the scoreboard is concerned, because now the Crispa team, the Galerie Dominique team realizes that they can't play ball even without their import.
Here is Bates. He can fire from rainbow territory. Short, and Junicio pulls it down.
Junicio all over the court tonight.
He's got 8 points and pulled down 4 defensive rebounds, while Vicente had a remarkable board performance, 8 rebounds, 5 and 3.
And look at this. Galerie Dominique clearly out hustling the Crispa Redmanizers, and at this point, the Redmanizers cannot believe it.
And they have 2 minutes and 32 seconds to turn it around. They're down by 4 points. They're trying to get their 6th straight win in this reinforced conference, and here comes Paul coming to the rescue for his 11th point.
Yes, and I wonder why the Crispa Redmanizers are not going down low to Billy Ray Bates. I think that's what they should do in the next 2 minutes. Get the ball down low to BRB.
They're trying to look also for their 18th straight victory. 2 minutes.
Last 2 minutes. Last 2 minutes.
The last 2 exciting minutes brought to you by Lipovitan. Keeps you going. Balani, great shot. 9 points. Referee stops play.
Foul, Taguines.
Illegal block called against Taguines. We have 1 minute and 45 with Galerie Dominique on top by 4 points.
Well, Galerie Dominique should continue to foul the man when he gets the ball down low. They only have 14 fouls, and they can afford to give another 2, another 3.
Cesar back at the game. Bernie Bernardo pulling out Ubalde. Oh, that could have been a great execution, but no basket from Ateco. However, he was fouled on the act of shooting. Taguines guilty of the foul. That's his 5th personal. Galerie Dominique on the 16th foul. 4 only called against Crispa.
Oh, Ateco, usually a sure shot from the free throw line. Very important now, very important rebound here. If Ateco should miss this second shot.
We have a minute and 33 to go. Nothing on 2 attempts, and Taguines body fight. That's it for Taguines. He's the 3rd player from GD leaving because of 6 fouls.
Now that foul kills the Galerie Dominique team. First of all, Crispa will retain possession of the basketball. Second of all, Jimmy Taguines, scoring points, getting rebounds, and hustling, is now fouled out of the ball game. Ed Merced coming in now.
Boy, that's a tremendous difference in height factor because Taguines is standing about 6'1", and here comes Merced, and Kidaben just would eat him up alive. But Kidaben intending a pass for Cesar. Cesar not ready for that pass. We have a turnover. A minute and 23 to go. GD on top by 4 points. The Redmanizers from getting the 6th win and, importantly, their 18th win. A minute and 9. 5 on the shot clock. Here comes Merced, just checking him in a while back. In and out. Bates. 58 seconds. From behind, he did not see Balani, and Balani crashes on Fabiosa.
Galerie Dominique is now over the limit.
Penalty.
Bernie Fabiosa will go to the free throw line here for 2 shots.
Steve, Balani just got his 5th personal foul. If he gets disqualified also together with Vicente, Fogle, and Taguines, the only man that they can call on is an off guard, and that is Tierra.
Yes, if he does foul out of the ball game, Galerie Dominique is going to have to play with 3 guards at the same time. Big rebound again, the same story here. Big rebound, and I wonder why Billy Ray Bates is not lining up in the rebound position.
Intended miss by Fabiosa, keeping it alive, but intercepted by Torrente. 47 seconds. 45 seconds. Galerie on top by 3. Save. No, it is now Torrente. Being pressed by Bates safely to Merced. They can get this foul. They only have 4. The foul is made with 29 seconds. It is called against Cesar.
Timeout, Galerie Dominique.
We have a timeout. We'll be right back, Steve.
Seconds. There was only 10 seconds to go on the shot clock, and Crispa should have gone for a steal or let Galerie Dominique, attempt a shot at the basket.
I think when Cesar committed that foul, he didn't realize that it was still 10 seconds on the shot clock. He was more worried about the game clock, which is reading right now at 29 seconds.
Well, the important thing now for Galerie Dominique is not to play scared. They should not take a shot with more than 15 or 20 seconds to go at on the game clock or the shot clock. And again, this might be a fresh. No, they're going to keep it at 24 seconds here. Galerie Dominique is in no rush to score. They're up by 3 points here.
The second personal foul on Kidaben brings Crispa to their 15th foul. They can still commit the foul, and we have Alani open. He moves closer. Blocked by Kidaben. Here comes Bates. Bates being pressed. Great move, but foul on the act of shooting by Balani. It is Balani's 6th personal foul, so he's the 4th player to be disqualified. First it was Fogle, followed by Vicente, then Taguines, and now we have Martin calling his last booster. They only played with 9 men. They're down to 5. We have Benji Poblete and Javier not in the Coliseum because they're injured. Florencio is still recovering from a leg injury. We have exactly 14.3 seconds left in this ball game with Galerie on top by 3 points. There's a timeout being asked by Coach Bernie. We'll be right back.
Up to guys like Idabin, Cesar, even Fabiosa to try to get the offensive rebound. Let's see if it holds true. If Bates decides to make his second free throw, then Crispa will have to go for a steal.
What is at stake here could be the dream might be bursted because they're looking for the 6th win and 18th, trying to break the record of 19 of 1918.
Well, they haven't looked good in their last 2 outings. This game against Galerie and the last game against the last game against Nico Tanduay. Billy Ray Bates at this point, I don't know. He might as well make the second free throw because they're going to have to go for a steal on 2 points anyway.
They're down by 3, a high arch, And there's immediately a timeout being asked by Coach Cholo Martinez. All remains in the game. It is Kidabin that goes to the bench.
Yes, actually, Kidabin is not really needed in this situation. They need guys that can make a steal. They need guys that can dribble the ball up very quickly. So he goes with Cole, Fabiosa, and Cristobal at the same time.
Center inbound. And they go to Merced. Good fake on Cesar. Going the other side. We have an upset in the making. And very quickly, Coach Bernie asks for a timeout with 11.3 seconds. We will hang on to the air. What a great inbound coming from Dionisio.
Yes, very nice play by Dionisio. He didn't panic, which is the most important thing.
While it is remote, Bates can fire from rainbow territory. He could be following the act of shooting, and if that goes in and converts, then we have a grand slam and a possible tie. But right now, very, very clear is an upset in the making. Cesar driving. He is fouled, and he has an opportunity for a slam. It is counted. It is a foul called against Tierra.
Well, that actually doesn't, you know, it hurts the Galerie Dominique team somewhat, Pingoy, but then again, that's just as if they would have made a three-point shot. The only fault that Galerie Dominique had on that play was that they should have hit Philip Cesar a lot harder. I'm not saying they should have hurt him, but they should have made it very difficult for him to get the shot into the basket. And there we saw that Crispa did not have the three-point shot, so they went to the short two. Big question now, is Philip Cesar going to intentionally miss this free throw? I think so.
Kidabin is right there, and there goes the miss. Kidabin has it quickly going up, and it's counted. Oh, it's 5.7. We have a tie.
Yes, Philip Cesar had to intentionally miss that free throw, and he did it so beautifully. I mean, it's harder to miss a shot so softly than it is to actually make the shot. Now, Kidabin has a chance to put his team up by 1 point. Galerie Dominique, the game is not over. They still will have 5 seconds to win the basketball game.
And looking over at the bench of Galerie Dominique, all of a sudden their faces fell, but Cholo Martin is in control. He just dished out instructions to his players, exactly saying, don't lose heart. You've got 5.7 seconds, even if Kidabin makes it.
This is the big rebound now. Galerie Dominique must pull down the rebound, and if they do, they must get a shot off at the basket. 5.7 seconds to go in the ball game.
And Kidabin misses it. And there goes a timeout quickly being asked by Cholo Martin. We heard the horn. It probably is not timeout, but we heard the horn. We will check. It is a foul.
Oh, that really hurts the Crispa Revenizers because, well, let's get a confirmation here. We have a foul on that play on Bernie Fabiosa. Now, that really hurts the team. They're not over the limit, but it gives Galerie Dominique an opportunity to throw the ball in from three-quarter court, and with 4.7 seconds to go, they have a chance of taking a shot and possibly scoring. It's a tie ball game, 4.7 seconds to go.
Well, here's what happened during the last 8 seconds. Cesar went for a drive, got the basket, it was counted, and fouled on the act of shooting. When he took his free throw, he intentionally missed it. Probably went for the outside rim.
I don't think that he intentionally missed it, Bingo, actually, because the score was tied at that point.
No, they were still down by a basket. Because it was Kidabin who got that rebound,
right.
faked, went on a turn, and got it. Also fouled on the act of shooting. The shot went in, it was counted. Then you had a 1-0-2 all.
Right. Now, Kidabin was actually trying to make that free throw.
That's right. And actually, we'll take a look at it again. It looked like Kidabin had a change of mind. Maybe he was debating.
I don't think that Kidabin was trying to miss this free throw because it would have given his team the lead, and it would have only given 5 seconds. Let's take a look here.
Short.
Right. Now you'll see the foul here. It would have been very difficult for Galerie Dominique to score. Fabiosa picking up the foul. Galerie Dominique has a full 4.7 seconds to go to score in this situation. And the most important thing for Galerie Dominique right now is that Galerie Dominique takes a shot at the basket. It's important to note that the Redmondizers have played already 2 overtime games in this very short reinforced
Now,
conference.
if this goes into overtime and the possibilities are very strong, then the Redmondizers have got a tremendous edge. 4 of the players of GD have left the game because of 6 personal fouls. There is Torrente. He may fire from the outside. Hand foul call against Cesar with 3 seconds left. Now, both teams are in team foul trouble. Cesar just got his 5th personal foul.
It's a good foul by Cesar because now there's only 3 seconds to go and it makes it much more difficult to score.
They're not over the storm yet. Tierra can fire from the outside. It's on the way. There goes the horn. And Fabiosa saw to it that last attempt by Dalman did not get an opportunity to go up in the air. No foul on that particular play. So we have an overtime, but certainly Coach Bernie came out of the grave. Now we are in overtime, and Galerie Dominic is playing with their backs against the wall. They only have 5 players left. And Crispa is experiencing 3 overtimes. Against San Miguel, it ended regular time at 101 all, and then they won by 2 points, 113, 111, and then against Anduay Rum, it ended at 111 all during regular time and came out on top by 629, 123. So this is the 3rd time that the Redmondizers are playing on overtime.
You know, it's amazing. The Redmondizers scored 4 points in 3.7 seconds.
During regular time. Here comes Bates. So far, he has pulled down 6 rebounds, 6 and 3.
Yes, and as you pointed out, Pingoy, Galerie Dominique is at a very distinct disadvantage at this point in the game. They're playing with 3 guards on the court at the same time, and they only have 5 players that can play for the team. A 3-second violation called against the Redmondizers. Galerie Dominique with a chance to tie up the ball game.
Kidaben continues to score from the floor. He's pushed his team on top by 2 points in this overtime. It is 104-102. 5 men left for Galerie Dominic. From Rainbow territory, nothing there from Junicio. Bates pulling it down. That's his 10th rebound. Cesar is now playing with 5 personal fouls. Fabiosa has got 4. Bates playing with 4.
Yes, coming into your picture, Billy Ray Bates is very tired at this point. He's trying to pace himself.
Great play. Atoy call. Inside hit to Kidaben. All of the 4 points in this overtime coming from Kidaben. 106-102. Galerie Dominic, they need the basket very quickly. They can get it from Rainbow territory. I don't think they'll complain. Here comes Kidaben. Atoy call looking upstairs. He finds Cesar, but goes to Bates from Rainbow territory. Bates scores.
You know, it's amazing, Pingoy, when you have a winning streak of 18, 19 games, magic. It's got to be a lot of magic and a lot of luck. And that's the case tonight for the Redmondizers. They really came through in the clutch.
And Kidaben controls the boards. Outlet pass going to Cesar. Now the Redmondizers are unstoppable, and Galerie Dominic has not scored at all during this overtime. We're under 3 minutes. 111 and 102. Regulation time ended at 102 all. Kidaben pulled down his 13th defensive rebound plus 3 offensive, a total of 16.
You know, Pings, we forgot about one player that still has not seen action for the Galerie Dominic team. They received Kidaben.
It is Torrente fouling Kidaben after 2 unsuccessful attempts.
Timeout, Galerie Dominic.
4 points in a row scored by the Crispa Redmondizers with in a span of less than 4 seconds. Quite amazing. But then again, when things are going right for a ball club, it sort of bleeds on to the rest of the players. The momentum, the luck, the skill, the talent carries the team.
It's a 9-0 blitz posted here in overtime by the Redmondizers. Could be 10 after the miss of Kidaben. We have a new player in the court for Galerie Galerie Dominic. This is Martinez. Actually, he was not in the bench. I think at the last second, while he was in the Coliseum, team manager Nicky Cosseteng called for his services. Actually, we talked to Martinez, and he is sick. He's got... he's actually recovering from intestinal flu, but they need these services, the only height that they have. Here comes TJ. It is goaltending, according to referee De La Cruz. It is no count.
Yes, that's offensive goaltending. Let's see if we can catch that on slow motion. Billy Ray Bates is not allowed to touch that ball. It was up against the backboard and doesn't really hurt the team that much. Let's take a look at it. Let's see if Bates does get the 10 on the ball. Very good call by the official.
We're now in our last 2 minutes in overtime. And so far, Galerie Dominic has not scored at all. And Torrente breaks the silence. Well, when they went into overtime, Galerie Dominic somehow had to put the charges together. They were only left with 5 players, and Cholo Martin had to call Martinez, who was part of the gallery, and said, put on your uniforms.
You know, Philip Cesar is a big man in this basketball game. He's shooting 10 out of 12 from the floor.
And they throw it away with 1 minute and 33 to go. With 8 seconds to go regular time, GD was on top by 4 points.
You know, we were talking before about Galerie Dominic folding in the last few minutes of a lot of their basketball games, but tonight it wasn't even a matter of the last few minutes. It was just the last 8 seconds where they seemed to collapse.
We have 1 minute and 8 seconds, and while they were down by 9, Galerie Dominic is posting their own rally. They're only down by 5.
Yes, it's still a ball game, Pingoy. 5 points. They should score here, cut it down to 3. And they get the basket down to 3 points. Neither team's giving up in this basketball game.
We are under 1 minute with the score standing 111-108. They go to Fabiosa, that slows down the pace a little bit. Looking for Bates, is being covered by Delman. Low posting is Cesar. 7 on the shot clock. Interception by Junicio. And there is a foul. It is going to be called against Fabiosa, and he's the first Redmanizer to leave the game because of 6 personal fouls. Now this could turn the tables for Galerie Dominic with 34.7 seconds.
Well, Crispa was playing very cautiously in those last few seconds, and it really hurt them. They should have just gone with the flow of the game. They were scoring points very easily. Now, Galerie Dominic, they don't have to take a 3-point shot here, even though Dunicio is going to.
And Bates comes down with it. 27 seconds. Bates finding Cesar. And Cesar has been a factor during the second half. He scored 22 points, made 6 only in the first quarter.
19 seconds to go in the ball game. Or in the first overtime.
Good play between Junicio and Torrente, keeping the hopes of Galerie Dominic alive. They're down by 3. 10 seconds to go. We're in overtime, and Cesar just stands up and goes for the basket.
Oh, Philip Cesar has played an outstanding ball game.
Here is Torrente, uncontested, and it counts. We have 1.9 seconds left. It's the ball game for the Redmanizers, winning their 3rd overtime, and somehow that's got to break the heart of Galerie Dominic.